Hey, it's Steve at Galveston Salt, and today I'm going to show you how to make a roux. You need a roux for just about everything in Cajun cooking. You need a roux for soups. Sometimes you need a roux for just whatever. So I'm going to show you how to do it. It's simple. It can be quick. I've heard people say it takes them all day or close to an hour to make a roux. That is just not the case. So a roux is very easy to make. I'll show you how to do it. It just takes some attention. You have to watch it. You have to babysit it. You can't walk off and leave it. Okay, I've got my skillet warming up. I've got it on medium to medium high heat. Now with a roux, it's equal parts oil and flour. I've got plain vegetable oil here. It's 3/4 of a cup. I'm going to go ahead and pour that into my skillet. Let that start warming. You can see the little ripples in it. So that's getting hot. And I've got 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour. Just plain all-purpose flour. You can make 10 gallons of roux, you can make 2 gallons of roux, or you can make 3/4 of a cup of roux like I'm doing here. The recipe is the exact same for every single one. Equal parts oil, equal part flour, 1 to 1. So I've got my oil heating up here. I'm going to add the flour in. You see it starting to ripple there, starting to boil. Looks like it's starting to sizzle. I'm just going to stir it around. I should have a timer going on this, but it won't take long. So for a gumbo and for any Cajun types cooking, I like to cook my roux to what's called peanut butter. So roux are not measured in temperature, they're pretty much measured in color. So right now, we've got a very, very blonde roux. It has not toasted. What we're actually doing is just toasting the flour in the hot oil. So if I were going to make a seafood gumbo of shrimp, scallops, crab, where the flavors are so light, I would probably stop very close to this blonde roux, because the darker a roux gets, the more intense, the more bold the flavor. So we can go from a blonde roux to a dark blonde roux to a peanut butter roux to a milk chocolate roux, or say a dark peanut butter just past this. It's like a milk chocolate and then a dark chocolate. Now that dark chocolate is going to be very, very toasty, very dark, and it's going to be very bold. And I hate to say it, but I think it's just a little bitter. I don't like to cook mine that long because I don't like the bitterness that I think it gets. But I cook mine just about 99% of the time to peanut butter, or just a little dark peanut butter just past this color. So we'll see. We'll do this. We've probably been doing this for about a minute now. And the trick here is just to keep it moving. You don't want it to stick to the bottom. You can see I've got some brown bits right there, but those are okay. Those, just stir those around, and that will be okay. And this will start getting darker as we go. So right now, this is what I would call a blonde. I would call this a blonde roux. If I were doing seafood gumbo, I would stop right here and just use that for my gumbo. Or my shrimp etouffee, or whatever, some sort of shrimp or crab dish, I would stop right here. Now, as I continue to cook this, now you can see I'm on medium-high heat. I've heard people say that they use a low heat and it takes, almost an hour to do. You just don't have to waste that much time, because you're seeing I'm on, this little cooker will go to 10, I'm on 7, so I'm medium-high. So now I'm getting close. Look, I'm not quite to peanut butter, so I would call this a dark blonde roux. So if I were adding like a strong flavored fish, like a tuna or something like that, then I might go a little bit darker. Okay, look at here. We're almost to peanut butter, and we've only been doing this for a couple of minutes. The trick is to continually stir. Use your whisk to scrape the bottom. You don't want this sticking to the bottom and burning. at there. I think that's pretty close to peanut butter. What do y'all think? I do. So, if we were doing, you know, if you had somebody that didn't really like a bold flavor, you might want to stop right here at peanut butter. It's perfect. This is a great color to do your roux, great flavor, and it's probably the majority of what roux would be in a gumbo. This is what I would call a dark peanut butter right here. And this is typically where I would stop and just add it to my chicken and sausage gumbo. I find this to be the best compromise between a lighter peanut butter flavor and a darker, bold flavor. This roux right here would not offend anybody. People that like the bitter would like this, and people that like the mild would like this. So this is where I typically stop right here. So I'm going to turn this down just a notch because it's starting to smoke. I don't want it to smoke right now, but I'll keep going to show you how dark this can go. So this is what I would call milk chocolate, like a Hershey bar or a Butterfinger. And then as we keep going, this is going to turn into dark chocolate here in just a few seconds. See there? Now we're at about a dark chocolate. So if you were doing a very strong gumbo, like if you chicken, sausage, you want to add some other types of meat, duck, or you know, some of those woodsy meats, you might like this right here. But here we are at dark chocolate. Look at that, beautiful. And what did this take? About 4 minutes. All right. So I'm gonna turn this off. So the thing about roux is even when you take it off the heat, it continues to cook. It is so hot that the flour in here will continue to toast. It will get darker and darker until you stop cooking it. So when I make gumbo, I add my Trinity to this. The moisture in the vegetables will actually stop this roux from cooking, and it won't get any darker. So that's how I make my gumbo. And this is how I make my roux. So there we are. We finished up with a dark chocolate roux. Nothing wrong with this. It's just got a very bold flavor. And if I went any darker than this, where it gets really thick and clumpy, that would be what I consider dark, 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 almost burnt, and that translates to me to be bitter, and I don't like it. But you may like it, so there you go. Equal parts oil, equal part flour in a skillet, and just continually stir it. So there you go. That's how I make my roux. It's easy and it's quick. You don't need to spend an hour doing it, and anybody can do it. All right, this is Steve at Galveston Salt, and I will see you next time. Bye.